Do you think it's right for camp directors to have fun doing this job?
This is CampHacker. Come find our show notes and our blog for camp directors and leaders at camphacker.tv.
Remember what sparked your passion for camp? Ultra Camp knows it's about the people, not the paperwork. That's why they built a platform to simplify your camp management. Learn more at ultracampmanagement.com/camphacker.
Why spend hours on your schedules only to find mistakes and missed activities for your campers? Let Camptivities do the heavy lifting and help you create the best schedules yet, without the mistakes and in less time. Come check out Camptivities, specifically designed for camps by camp people. Find out more at camptivities.com.
Hello, Camp Mavericks, and welcome to the CampHacker podcast, brought to you by Ultra Camp, Camptivities, and the staff recruiting and retention email course from Beth and Matt and myself. I am Travis Allison. I'm a summer camp consultant specializing in getting parents to open, read, and act on your emails.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Hudson. I'm also a camp consultant specializing in supervision, intentional leadership, intentional programming, as well as making sure that every camp space is safe for everyone, regardless of how they identify, be it race, gender, ability, or something else.
And my name is Ariella Skoczylas, and the area of camp I like to focus my efforts on is staff training and development.
Ariella, before we get into the topic which you proposed, which is why we invited you, which is a lesson for everybody, if you want to get on the CampHacker podcast, give us a topic we like. So
It's
before we
simple,
get to there,
by the way, it's that simple, everybody. There's no lengthy application process. Email us.
Ariella, how did you get started at camp?
Ooh, good question. I grew up going to day camp and then summer camp. My husband and I grew up going to the same camp as each other. And the way it worked was everyone we knew basically went to the same camp, and we ended up working together in that camp. As a young staff member, I went on to some more leadership roles, and here we are.
That's wonderful. Well, we're grateful to have you on CampHacker for the first time, and even more grateful that you sent an email that said, can you talk about a couple of those things? So thank you for just jumping on. That's a perfect camp director spirit to do this. So you said you wanted to talk about what's fun about this job, or what we take out of this that's fun. How do you want to frame this discussion, Ariella?
So I think it's important for us to do things we enjoy doing and anywhere in life, not just with camp directors.
Yep.
I think it's also important for us to recognize that all of our staff members need to feel enjoyment from what they're doing, and make sure that we understand what that means for the campers also, and how they're going to get the most out of it.
And this way of framing it really brings up something that it's been a theme many times on CampHacker, is that people are watching how we do this. So people are always watching us, whether we think we're on or not. They're always learning from us, and we have lots of lessons about life in summer camp that people are learning when it's not us actually teaching. So I really like that thinking around, can this be fun? Should this be fun? And I will say that I think that there is, and I think the industry's growing out of this, but I think there was sort of a camp industry-wide pride in the slog of it. Like, oh, this is so hard. I'm really doing this because it's hard and exhausting and all that. What do you think, Chris?
I think just on this point, does any other industry glamorize how difficult the job is, like in the initial interview? Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of camp directors start with that, like, oh, camp is a lot of fun, but it's really a lot of hard work and it's going to break your back. But I swear it's fun. It's just mixed messages.
Yeah.
Right. But I want to,
there's probably something to having to prove that we're actually working, even though we're spending our time at camp.
That's a good point.
100%.
Also, I think it's probably to underline it's not all fun and games, right? Like
Yeah.
there's effort that goes into it. We need to find a new way to say that. But when we talk about this topic, I immediately was like, well, what is fun? Like we have to define what fun is because I have thoughts. So
Yeah.
Ariella, I'm going to throw it back to you. This is your
Thanks,
idea.
Chris.
Yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
have
so when you say, I like Travis, your opening question was very controversial. Should we have fun? It's like,
Well, that's why I started with my pieces. Like, I think some people in this industry think we shouldn't have fun.
Okay. Well, Ariella,
Let's go for definition.
when you say
Yeah, so I
fun, and
think
it might be different for the three of us. I'm just curious.
I'm curious too, but I have a feeling we think very similarly. And I've learned a lot from you guys. So probably you have helped to form my definition. Right before this call, I looked up the actual definition of fun, and it uses the words enjoyment and amusement. And I think traditionally we think of fun as enjoyment and amusement and build that around things that are in the moment. So we're having fun in the moment and we're doing something that is enjoyable for right now. I want to suggest that the fun we're talking about at camp is the fun that is going to last and be memorable. And whether it's later today or tomorrow or in 5 years or in 10 years, thinking back to it, yeah, that was fun. And
Enjoyable. That was enjoyable and
it was
amusing.
enjoyable, amusing.
Okay. You're right. I do agree with that.
I'd like to add that it's not just that it was enjoyable and amusing. It was maybe a little bit different or shocking. And that's why it got to that point of enjoyment or amusement. And there was some sort of investment into it or some sort of sense of accomplishment. And that's why it got to that level of feeling enjoyment and amusement.
I appreciate the definition, and I think it's important. Like, there is a lot of slog to this job, and we have to find the amusement. I get tired of people that are so proud of what a slog it is. But how else do you make it through this summer after summer? And how else do you make it through this weird lifestyle where you're living 10 for 2? Yeah. So I'm going to stop there. I have a couple of other things that's taking a bit different direction, but what do you think, Chris?
I mean, I want you to know, I think about this a lot. I think about this a lot when it comes to me as a former camp director. Like, where was I deriving my fun from? Like, what was enjoyable and amusing to this? And I learned this a really long time ago when I was a camp counselor in my early 20s. When I was younger, I would pin like the fun on how what I was doing was being received, right? So if the kids loved Family Feud, then I was having fun. But I learned early on, right? Because kids are fickle and are affected by the weather, their moods, whether there was French fries at lunch or not. I had to derive my fun from the actual planning and not the execution of everything. So for me, my fun begins in January and ends 1 hour after the children arrive at camp. Then it's work, right? But I had fun that whole time, like trying to come up with names for various activities, like figuring out which cabin was going to go where at what time, like which days when we don't have access to the pool, what do we do? I had to make that fun because if I hinge it on how it's received by either the staff is a different thing, but by the kids, if I pin it on that, it's just too chaotic, right? So when we pitch this topic, like how do camp directors have fun, I really wanted to talk about this because I'm wondering what other people think. Because not that I don't have fun at camp, but I got to tell you, Travis, you mentioned the slog. The actual week of camp is a slog because what I love is the planning and the anticipation. All the supervision and all the nose wiping that happens at camp, forgive me, but like it's just, maybe I'm too old for it now, but like that's less fun to me. So it's just, I mean, I would love to have this conversation in a much larger forum because I'm really wondering what other camp professionals might say.
Yeah, I think part of the job so you're describing the part of the job that happens before the summer, and I also what is the job, quote unquote. We have to, for each of us, kind of is a little bit different, I assume. For me, the part of the job that gives me that sense of enjoyment is I really enjoy working with the staff. And sometimes you'll have a staff member who has an issue and they come to you for advice or whatever it is, and you give them some advice and they take some time to think about it and then perhaps come back to you a couple days later and say, you know what, I tried what you suggested and it worked. And that's like golden, right?
Yep.
And we live for those types of moments. And I think that for me, that's what fuels my summer.
So that's fun for you, the supervision aspect and the carrying the counselors and the staff through difficult times.
Yeah, and for me, it's kind of like a sense of accomplishment. Like we worked through this hard thing and we got there.
You know what I love about that, Ariella, is that I don't think people from outside the industry would think about that's how we're having fun. I mean, no, because seriously,
teacher.
Yeah, like my family,
Well,
for one.
I'll tell
like,
you guys a secret that I
Yeah.
am a part-time teacher during the year. So
There it is.
Travis,
There it is. But it's
There it is.
interesting because my family, for one, who I've been at this for 30 years, and they're still like 30 years and very successful at what I'm doing. And they're still like, oh, so you play with kids. Like they think that that's like me in the Gaga pit. They think that's why I'm still doing this. And I love what you said. Like it's really the relational and interactional parts of the job that are speaking to you. Just like the planning and the preparation are speaking to me. Travis, what part speaks to you?
Well, I mean, I definitely love the moments that feel like I'm making a difference. That can power me through a lot. I do think, I mean, one, I'm thinking we all have different experiences of running camp when camp is going on, because camp is only a week for you, Chris. And I mean, camp was 1 week sessions for me. Ariella, how long would sessions normally be for you?
In the past, it was 4 weeks and 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Now they've gotten a little bit shorter.
Sure. So it's a different experience when I didn't have to lay it on the field for 6 days. And I had to be thinking, like, how can I give next week's kids as much fun as this one? And so I had to find my moments of fun in a day. So I had to find moments of fun every day, despite working hard and sometimes going 3 or 4 days without sitting down to a meal. There were times in a day that were really fun for me. And honestly, meals are my favorite part of camp. There is nothing I like more in this world than sitting around a table in a dining hall and the mood just getting silly and just laughing till you cry at a meal table. I could not put anything higher on my list than those moments. And so meals are always important for us. We always ended with what we called campfire, which is often just a sort of a set of songs going from rowdy to quiet. And just that switch from super rowdy chants and screamy things into the quieter moments. And we're pretty obsessed with music. And so all of a sudden the harmonies come out, and often we're sitting in our big wooden dining hall, which is beautiful sounding and beautiful light and beautiful music. And I was like, that's super fun for me. I'm not a great singer, but I certainly learned how to play guitar so that I could encourage that. And in fact, was hired to bring music back to this camp that had it before. But finding those moments, like meals, campfire, sustain me through a lot.
So I think that kind of touches on one aspect of fun that we haven't mentioned, which is the spontaneity, which it sounds like every meal you had that, but also you never really knew where it was going to take you.
I love that you're using the word spontaneity when you mean chaos. Because I think about meal times, I think about chaos, absolute chaos. I had a question I wanted to ask the group. When you were talking, Travis, about all the parts of this. I don't know what you think about this, but like I can almost hear my parents telling me this when I was young. Is it correct to expect your job to be fun? Now, we are peddlers of fun, right? So sort of like we're the people who bring it together. But at the end of the day, it's just a job, right? It is a job like any other. Well, maybe not like any other, but I do think it's interesting that we just jumped into the conversation with the assumption that our job should be fun. I don't know. Have you thought about, I mean, it doesn't have to be fun. I don't know if accountants are having fun or data analysts are having fun. I think they're just exercising a skill that they like to use. I guess that is fun. But what do you think about that?
A couple of different things. I think true, not every job is fun, but not every job is all consuming as camp is. One of my best friends since we were in two best friends since we were in high school, one who is a tax accountant and one who's an insurance agent. And other than tax season, both of those guys quit work at 5 and don't go back to work till 9 the next morning, and they get done on Friday at whatever, and they start on Monday at 9. So, but that's not our life. There's too much happening in evenings and weekends and all of those things. And so I think fun makes all of that possible. I mean, the other part of fun and all those late evenings and weekends and things is that we're doing it with people that we love and care about and people that are fun to be around. And that makes it different. I don't think either one of my friends would say that they certainly love the people they work with. They care about them. There's no doubt. But so that's kind of the balance to a job that says we have fun and we work on having fun while doing it. Is it has to be that in order to make up for how much time and energy goes into this in a year.
I think in any job that anyone is doing, there is some element of getting something out of it. It has to be enjoyable. Otherwise, unless you're making like way too much money, that it's silly to not be doing it. Even then, I don't know. There has to be some element of something that you're enjoying from it and getting out of it.
I think I would agree. It's funny. I think I would agree with you, but getting something out of it is different than having fun. Because I think about what I get out of camp and what I think is fun are parallel, but not the same thing, right? Like what I get out of it, like when the reason why meals were chaotic is because the children and staff used to not let me eat. There would be a line forming on either side, staff on this side because they all have something to tell me, kids on this side because they all want to hug. And as exasperating that is, like I love that. Like getting that was really important. Was it fun? No, it wasn't fun because I was hungry. But it's like it's two different things. I don't know. I think it'd be a really interesting poll to take, like to ask this question of camp professionals to see what they come out with.
That kind of touches on, Chris, when we're redefining fun. And what do we want that to be? And those moments of like exhilaration where you're surrounded by people who just need to be close to you. Yeah, you wouldn't like choose that as a fun activity for yourself, but it's exhilarating. And I think those are the things that we need to think about when we're trying to infuse fun into whatever we can be doing.
Every year, it's the same thing. Lots of hours spent working on the daily schedules, only for there to be mistakes, missed activities, and lots of stress. Why is it so difficult? There's got to be a better way. And there is. Camptivities, an activity scheduler made specifically for camps. Group scheduling or camper scheduling, we've got you covered. Different day schedules, no problem. Auto scheduling, elective scheduling, batch scheduling. Schedule the way that works for your camp. With over 60 reports, you'll be able to see the data easily. When a parent calls and says, my camper didn't get an activity week 1, pull up the group activity tracker and see exactly when that activity was scheduled all summer long. Modernize the way you do activity scheduling. Make it easier to collaborate with team members. Get rid of the mistakes and make sure your campers are getting to all of your activities. We'd love to show you the next big thing in camp. Now's the time to find a better way to schedule this summer. Don't wait. Next summer will be here before you know it. Let us help you get away from your desk and back out in camp. Visit camptivities.com to set up a time to chat.
Exclusive to CampHacker listeners. Generate fresh ideas for activities, staff training, marketing campaigns, and more with UltraCamp's plug-and-play AI prompt guide. Download it for free at ultracampmanagement.com/CampHacker. Why struggle with multiple systems when one can do it all? UltraCamp offers a platform that simplifies your work by combining all aspects of camp management into one seamless solution. UltraCamp brings everything you need into one easy-to-use platform. Plan schedules and activities with just a few clicks. Register and track campers easily organize, schedule, and automate your communications. Manage payments and donations seamlessly. Get back to what you love. UltraCamp helps you spend less time on admin tasks and more time creating unforgettable camp experiences. Ready to see if UltraCamp is the perfect fit? Schedule your free personalized demo at ultracampmanagement.com/CampHacker.
How do we communicate to staff? I mean, I think about this all the time, about how to communicate to staff, like how to do the job, what the job entails. Like that's a lot of my consultancy. And this is a question I ask all the time every summer. How do we convey to staff, young staff, the balance between fun and responsibility? Because like we started this by saying, I think a lot of times we pitch these jobs as being like, it's going to be so much fun. There's a waterfront and the kids are going to worship you and all that up. And it's also a lot of work. Like we do that back and forth. But what do you think the balance could be? Because like we're saying, like, yeah, you have a job, you want to get some enjoyment from it. But I think it's naive to think that any job is going to be 100% fun 100% of the time. And I think because we are in the fun business, I think people think that our jobs are, I'm just going to say it, I think people think our jobs are more fun than they really are. I mean, a lot of my job is talking to the accountant and dealing with the state of Pennsylvania and their bizarre tax laws, like the insurance company. I'm not having fun, right? That is at this point most of my job. But nevertheless, this isn't about me and it's not my therapy session. However, how do we communicate to young people like the balance between fun and responsibility? Because I love fun is like the hook, like you're going to have fun, but you got to be careful how you sell it.
Well, and camp people tend to oversell camp a lot in all sorts of different aspects. I think, Chris, part of the reason why people are so upfront about the slog of this job and how hard it can be, and you need to know this going into it, sort of the Shackleton approach, like you will be miserable at certain points, is for people who grew up at camp. It's not necessarily for people who, well, I mean, people who didn't grow up at camp, they have sort of like a pop culture view of what camp is, sort of the movie version of camp. But if you grew up at camp, someone has worked their butts off to make sure that you had fun. And you have to understand that that's now your role. And so it's your job to create fun for others. There will be fun stuff along. So I think that's why we start with this job's going to be really hard, is because it's much different, because people have worked very hard for you to make sure you had fun as a child and a teenager. And so I think that's where that comes from. I mean, I think we have to be honest, and I would much rather people be told at the beginning that it's going to be very hard work than just the rosy picture of it.
And when I think back to when I was a camper, the memories that I have are not from the program that was built to give us a fun time, right?
Agreed.
The memories
100%.
are from being with my friends or doing things that weren't on the agenda. I think we can remind our staff that also, that the fun part of this is going to come in a organic way.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be from swimming laps with your campers. It's going to come from somewhere else. It's going to come from working hard at something and seeing what we've done and feeling good about the things that we've accomplished.
I think so. This is number one. This is exactly why Beth always says people before program, because if there's a need to take the fun a little further, or somebody needs a break, even though you're scheduled to go canoeing, then it's people before program in those instances. And it took a while to figure out how to frame it, but we definitely had to teach staff. Like, it is okay. We call it going off pegboard. Board was how we organize things. So it's okay to do things that are just creative and fun. And that actually brings up one of the things I definitely wanted to say is that that's where you get to be silly. And I don't think kids have adults in their lives who are silly. Like, it's sometimes with parents, some parents, they're silly once in a while, but just to see adults be silly and have fun with them is important, and I think important for us as leaders. But that's the fun part of it. We're created a place where it's fine for adults to be silly with kids. And yeah, so I think that's an important part of the fun payoff for the hard work too.
And I think it's
Because they see
important.
us doing it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. They see it. And I think sometimes we need to even take it a little step further and recognize those staff members that are infusing that silliness and congratulating them on it and encouraging it. And that's also part of the new definition of fun, is being recognized for doing those types of things and making it the best summer for the campers because they're doing those types of things.
Yep.
Now I'm thinking like how to craft an interview question around this, because I think it'd be really interesting to ask incoming staff what they think will be fun about this job. Because I think their answer will tell you a bit about their work ethic, right? There's no way to answer that without them. Because if they're like, oh, I'm just looking forward to hanging out with the kids all day long and just talking with them, all day long? Because that's not the job. I need you at activity centers, not all day long. But I think it would really reveal how prepared people are and how much information they may need about what the job actually entails. Because listen, make no mistake, this job is super fun. It's super fun. And this, again, because fun is so subjective, it's super fun for me because it's like these little moments change people's lives. And the weight of that, I mean, maybe fun's a weird word to use for that, but the weight of that is fun for me. The idea that who this young person is going to be rests on their experience this week. I mean, that's incredible, right? And it's so much fun to watch that bloom and grow. And again, that's subjective for me. Like, whatever part of this you find fun. I mean, I know we have staff who come to camp and they're just like administrative assistants, and they love that. They love entering data. They love copying the incident reports. They love to be involved, but they do not want to be near the kids, right? They're having fun just being in a support role. So again, it's all subjective. And I think across camp, everyone's going to have different answers for that. The people who are doing the land management, like what's fun for them, maybe it's just being outdoors, and the kids are ancillary part of it. You've given me a lot to think about. Oh.
Going back to the beginning of what you were just saying about the interview question. I've always had part of my interview process is I usually ask a question that kind of along the lines of, let's say you're running an activity, let's say it's basketball, and you have your group of kids come to you and they're not really into it and they don't want to play. What do you do? And it doesn't really matter to me, like you said, Chris, where this interviewee takes their answer, because we can use that as our first teachable moment and also learn a lot about them and where we're going to need to go. Knowing if they can pivot or how they pivot, or being able to teach them that we don't necessarily need to stay within this box of what basketball is supposed to look like.
And reorienting to what the purpose of the activity is. Is it to pull off basketball? Or is it for this?
Sometimes it might be.
I mean, sure. If your camp has a contract and they have to film so many basketball, I mean, but for the most part, when people get together, it's like, this is about basketball, or is it about people coming together and have fun? There's that word again. People coming together to have an experience. You know what I mean? Like, and like
Grow
you said,
together.
yes, and like you said, like however that question gets answered just reveals a lot. Love that.
My final thing on this is that I think it's important for management to make sure that their staff has fun. I think as an industry, we're getting better at giving staff more breaks and all of that. But I really encourage camps to be thoughtful about breaks, not just being get away for kids, have your phone for an hour, but that they are something to appreciate the place, the experience around there. I love camps that have staff only activity periods where the staff get to do the zip line and go canoeing with other staff and not have to manage life jackets and 5-year-olds and canoes. And so those camps that are really intentional about that make sure that it is just fun for the staff. So we're not just kind of constantly asking the staff to dig a little deeper. We are also making space for them.
Yeah, we've had some great staff activities at night in the past, and it gives them something to do. It gives them something to be excited about, and also gives them this place where they know they're going to be able to do this activity with their friends, so that when they have their campers at that activity, they can be 100% with their campers and not feel that they need to enjoy it for themselves.
That's a great place to end it. Let's bring the topic to a close there. I'm going to move us on then to our tool of the week.
Tool of the week.
So we ask everybody who comes to the show to bring a tool that makes them a better camp director. I will buy you both some time by getting mine for those watching on YouTube. Mine is a way for camp directors to manage making their office look nice and warm and friendly with Lego. What I have here is a Lego orchid. And Lego has all these new botanicals, they call them Lego Botanicals series, of all these flowers. And I can't keep a flower alive, period, but especially not during summer. And just having something that's pretty and nice and brings a bit of light to space is important. And I think Lego is a great tool for that because, I mean, you can't have all of my other kinds of Lego I have in the background, but the botanicals, the flowers in particular, I think are just a fun way to have a permanent flower arrangement front and center.
I love that you found a way to recommend Legos. Of course you would, Travis. Of course you would.
Ariella, what's your tool of the week?
All right. My tool of the week is this book that I just finished reading. It's called The Carrot Principle by Adrian Gostick and Chester Elton. It teaches the method of positive recognition, which we practice at camp, in corporate language, citing decade-long studies of hundreds of thousands of people. So for me, this does two things. Number one, it feels really good to know that we're doing the right thing. I don't think there is a study this grand that has been done with summer camps. And number two, it's helpful in communicating with those who might be outside of our little camp bubble, whether it's family and friends or board members or donors. Can be used to share the greatness we do with them using this results-based formula. We could suggest them to read it or just want that we use the same management model as the Pepsi Bottling Group and DHL.
Perfect. That's a great one. Thank you, Ariella. Chris?
Mine is super simple. I've been using it for years and I don't even think about it anymore. This is a Chrome extension. It could also be on Firefox if you are from 20 years ago and you're using Firefox, but it's an extension that goes right on the browser. It's called Behind the Overlay. It's just a button that is just to the right of the address bar. And when you're on a website which has like an annoying pop-up, which a lot of the journalism sites do now, like you go to them and then they immediately be like, oh, subscribe or whatever. If you just click this button, it all disappears and you can see the website. This allows you to sometimes skip the paywall entirely. If the website is not constructed properly, it's a loophole. Behind the Overlay will just allow you access to like the Atlantic or New York Times. So, and also, like I said, pop-up ads. Sometimes those pop-up ads You don't know where to click because it's like if you click in the wrong place, oh, it's a virus. And everyone
It's a
goes
lifetime
down.
commitment.
Yeah. Like, oh, snap. I just spent $400. So I don't even play the game. You just click the button, it disappears. So you just Google it behind the overlay. I don't know about Edge and I don't know. Sorry, Mac users. I don't know, but you can use Chrome on Mac, right?
Yes.
Great.
Yep.
So all your problems are being solved by me today.
Right.
Check it out.
Pretty good. Well, I thank you both for this topic and your thoughtful discussion about it. Thank you again, Ariella, for reaching out and presenting the topic and then saying yes when I said, that's good. Come and talk about it with us. That's
Thank you,
awesome.
guys. This has been great. A real treat for me to meet you and talk a bit. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Perfect. That's great. Well, I really do appreciate it. If people have questions or want to do as Ariella did and reach out with topics that you want us to talk about, knowing that we'll probably turn it around back on you, you can reach out to me, Travis at gocamp.pro, and be happy to do it. You can also now go to if you're using a podcast app to listen to our show, you go to the show notes, and at the top of that is a thing to text me, and I will get a text message. So appreciate your feedback or ideas, anything there. And that. Ariella, if people have follow-up questions, how would you like them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can email me at leadershiplioness@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram, also at leadershiplioness. And I do want to hear from all of you aspiring leaders and camp pros. I'd love to get excited about what you're currently working on. So please reach out.
Amazing. Thank you. Chris?
Turn off all the lights, look in the mirror, and say my name 5 times, and I will appear. If that doesn't work, feel free to email me, chris@planetchris.net. If you want to see what I'm up to, you can follow me on Instagram at planetchris1.
Thanks for a good show, Chris.
You too.
Thanks, Ariella, for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. What a treat.
Well, I want to take a second before we walk away just to let you know about another Go Camp Pro show. I happen to know, recording this afternoon, Michael Brandwine is on the Day Camp Pod this afternoon. They're recording today, so they've got some hot topics that they're excited about. So I would encourage you to search for the Day Camp Pod, even if you are not a Day Camp person or not currently working as a Day Camp director. It is a great show. There's lots of good information for anybody, and yeah, it's totally worth it. The work that Sam and Andy are doing there has been great this season. So please search for the Day Camp Pod. And thanks for the evening, friends.
The Camp Hacker podcast is brought to you by Beth and Travis Allison, summer camp leadership training and marketing consultants. Thanks for listening.
Hey, Camp Pros. We love that our industry is built on sharing. In order to foster that spirit, if you've gotten even one good idea from a Go Camp Pro podcast, a masterclass, from the Summer Camp Pros group on Facebook, at a conference, or wherever else, we ask that you give credit where credit is due. That way, we can encourage camp pros to keep freely sharing their brilliant ideas and make the camp industry better. Thanks very much.